Everyone now wants to add a little bit of AI to their websites or applications. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to do it easily with Amazon Bedrock. Amazon Bedrock is a fully managed service that provides you with different base models, and then you can customize them or create agents without building all the necessary infrastructure for that, because Amazon already did it for you. And in this video, I'm going to give you a quick overview of AWS Bedrock and show you how to set up your account. And in the next videos, I'm going to show you how to start using it in your client-side or server-side applications. So stay tuned, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications if you don't want to miss it. So let's start. So in order to start doing anything in AWS, you first need to create a user. You should not use your root user because your root user is super powerful and it has access to everything. So if something goes wrong, it can use a lot of things that cost money. So if you don't want to spend a lot of money, you should first create a new user for your purpose, and I'm going to do it here in IAM dashboard. You see that I have only one user, that is root user, and now I'll go to the access management and I'll go to users and I will create a new one, and I'll say Bedrock because I'm creating it for the Bedrock tutorial and I want to provide this user an access to AWS console, and I also want to create an IAM user that will have keys and access keys for our application. And here I'm going to enter the password and I will untick this one because I don't want to create a new password on the sign-in. And let's hit next, and here we can add user to existing group, or we can attach policies directly. So I'll choose this one because I don't really have any groups for now, and there is this administration access, and you can open and see that it allows everything, and there are a bunch of others. So you can search, for example, Amazon Bedrock full access, Amazon Bedrock read only, and etc. So for now, just to simplify stuff, I'll create this user with the administrator access. But in real life, you would want to give as little permissions as possible to this user, because if something goes wrong again, it's better to have less power to spend money in your AWS account. There is also this set permissions boundary and a bunch of stuff. We don't want to do this right now, so I will just create this user and then I will hit create. And I will download CSV file with all the credentials, just in case if I forget them, and I'll store it in a safe place. So let's return to user list, and you can see that we have these two users now. And now I'm going to log out and I will sign in with a new user that I just created. And so now we are in our brand new user, and you can see that access to the cost and usage is denied, so we cannot see some stuff. So it still has less permissions than a root user. And now let's just go to our Bedrock service to see what is it and how does it look. Just go to the page, and here you can see that it shows you a few foundational models. So foundation model is a base model that you can use as it is or fine-tune on your own data. And if we go here, we can see all of them. You can see some cloud, command, embed, and like I don't even know these models. Llama 3, I know this one. So lots of them. And here you can just choose one. For example, let's choose this cloud instant, and to start using any of these models, you need to request model access. So let's just do that. And again, you can choose to enable all models or enable just specific models. I will enable just specific one, and I will start with cloud instant, and I'll go next. Then you need to fill in this form just to request the access. So it usually takes a couple of minutes to get the access, so now I'm going just to wait, and you see the status here changed to in progress. Actually, let's request all anthropic models so we can play with them and see how one is different from another. And I'm going just to submit my request. The access is granted, and we can go and explore our cloud models. So if you choose one of these models, you can see here a bunch of examples of what these models can do. So for now, I'm just going to try something simple. For example, content generation, and let's open it in Playground. So what is Playground? It is a simple UI that allows you to experiment with the model without integrating it into your application. So you can try different models just in AWS console and decide which one is fits your needs better. So here we have a mode. It can be chat or it can be a single prompt, and then we have this text field to write the prompt. For now, let's just do it a simple way, and let's say write an article about software developer burnout. And you see that it starts streaming, it starts writing us an article. And because we are in the chat mode, you can also iterate through these results and say, for example, can you summarize it into 3 sentences? And again, it does what we want. And here you can see a little bit of stats, and you can change some preferences. You can choose if you want to stream response or not, export it as a JSON, and yeah, nothing much. That was our playground. And if we go back to our examples, let's find this one. So you can see that it not only gives you an examples, but it also gives you a code sample to add it into your application. So once you found the model that works for you, so you can go here and just copy it and work with this thing. There is a lot more settings here as well, so you can change the model you use. For example, we can switch to Haiku model, and you can add system prompts. So what is system prompts? Just in case if you don't know, it is a prompt that explains the model, how it should behave. For example, you can assign a role to a model, say that you're an expert, or give it some rules in terms of what you expect from it. And another thing here that is very useful is randomness and diversity settings. So you can change the temperature. Temperature affects how creative is model, how much it can diversify the answer, how far away it can go away from your initial prompt. So here you can read a little bit about these configurations, and it also allows you to set up the maximum length of the response. So you can just play with this and see which settings are the best for you. And another cool thing is compare the model switch. So if you click it, you can select 2 models. For example, I can select Sonnet and Haiku, and then it would give me 2 responses, and then I could test them both and see which one is better and which one is faster as well. You see that Haiku already finished and this one is done just now. And then you can compare the responses and see which one is better, which one you like more. I think that's a pretty cool feature. And again, you see it also shows you how much time it took to get the response. And you can see that Haiku is almost 2 times faster than Sonnet. So that's pretty interesting. And yeah, I've enabled only anthropic models, but if you enable different providers, you can also compare. For example, you can compare Amazon models with Anthropic or Meta with Amazon and etc. And again, that's a lot of stuff you can do and research. We also can do stuff with images. You see that we have here base models for like stable diffusion, so you can also generate images using AWS Cloud. But I'm not going to go too deep into it right now. What else we have here? Here is a builder tools section. It also can be very useful. You can create and test the prompts and you can save them for the future. Then you can also create your knowledge bases. What is knowledge base? It's a place where you can upload your documents and then make a model to refer to them when you're asking something. For example, if you have some kind of like policies of your company and you want to create a quick chatbot that would answer questions regarding this policy, so users don't have to like read them all through and waste a lot of time to find something. So you can just load your documents here, you can point your model to them and it will answer, it will use them in the answers. And there is also agents. Honestly, I didn't try this one. And flows. Yeah, this is something I didn't try, but I'm going to try it with you. And another very important thing you need to check before you start using models from Amazon Bedrock is pricing. You can find all the details about pricing on this page. I'll leave the link below the video so you can go and check it out. So on this page you can get familiar with how Amazon Bedrock pricing works. So there are different types of pricing, different modes in Amazon Bedrock. It's on-demand and provisioned throughput. So in case of on-demand mode, you'll pay only for what you use. The usage will be calculated based on the tokens, input tokens and output tokens. So the longer your prompt and the longer your response, more expensive it's gonna be for you. So how can you reduce your costs here? You can limit the output to a certain amount of tokens, for example, to 1000 tokens. And another way to reduce costs is use batch inference. So what is it? Batch inference is when you provide a list of prompts in one single file and Amazon Bedrock will process them and store in S3 buckets, so you will get access to them at some point later. This is not so interactive as just normal on-demand mode, but it helps you to reduce costs at 50%. And provision throughput means that you can reserve model units for some time and it is good for some predictable, consistent workload. But for our use case, for tutorials, for experiments, I would say just stick with on-demand mode. Bedrock also allows you to customize, fine-tune models, and again, the cost will be based on the amount of tokens that model will process during the training. Again, you should be very careful with it because that can be very costly. And there are some tools that are built separately in Amazon Bedrock. For example, agents. If you build an agent, then you'll be paying for all other resources that are needed for it. And the same with knowledge bases. And if you want to see how much exactly the models costs, here there is a table with all the base models that Bedrock has and with the price. So you can see that the price is given per 1000 input tokens or output tokens for both just simple on-demand and batch modes. And you can compare the prices of different models. You can see that, for example, Stability AI models to generate images, for example, Stable Diffusion, are pretty expensive compared with just text models. And yeah, you can check it and you can decide which model will work for you, which price will work for you. So don't forget to check this page, not to be surprised when you get your bill at the end of the month. So that's a quick overview of the Amazon Bedrock in AWS console. And next thing we are going to do is to try and call it from our application.